Brooklyn, new. Click the edit, raise me with a siren, sing lullabies. Through conversations taught me truth before the books got wise. Corner store confessions, dollar chips and broken dreams. With a block could turn a halo to a hustle overnight it seems. I seen prayers scribbled on the back of late notices. Mama's faith iron hoping to my jeans like it was sewn in this. Cold winters, high tempers, short fuses, long nights. I learned early God don't flinch when the odds bite. I was walking with a pavement, knew my government. Cracks in the sidewalk matching cracks in my confidence. They said the city don't love you, it uses you. But God met me in the grime and said I still choose you. I speak fluent survival, my tongue got a borough accent. Every bar carry weight like the cross when it's balanced. I don't rap to escape, I rap to document how grace pulled me out the chokehold, consequences sin. See, I was dancing with wolves, but heaven kept watch. Angels double parked outside the trap spot when my name was one bad choice. From a mugshot frame, he rerouted my steps, then reroute my pain. That's Brooklyn theology, learned it in hallways where the elevator smelled like regretted no bouquets. I watched queens turn losses into legacies and kings fold under pressure, chasing temporary thrones impressively. I rhyme with intention, every sentence got breath. I ain't chasing applause, I survived being left when silence was loud and the nights talk back. God whispered purpose when my post lost track. I studied the grace, lessons hidden in rhythm, where the truth hit harder than the kick in the snare system. Precision in thought, elevation in speech. If I say it, I mean it, I don't reach. From mossy echoes to thoughts, mental gym. I learn intellect, move crowds quicker than rims. And Big taught me vision, paint scenes with your voice. So when I speak of redemption, you can hear the choice. I change lanes mid-sentence, no signal, no pause. Faith gave me range, not just punchlines and flaws. One breath I'm offended, next breath I'm sharp. Scripture in the marrow, city in the heart. I was baptized by fire, escapes and stairwells. Learned heaven got Wi-Fi in the deepest hells. When my prayers bounced back like checks insufficient, God covered defeat, called it divine assistance. I done seen hunger teach patience better than sermons. Empty fridge, full face, that's a Brooklyn discernment. We didn't have much, but we had belief. And God stretched meals the same way he stretched me. Now I walk with authority, not arrogance though. Confidence clean when you know where you grow. I don't erase the scars, I reference them. Testimony heavy like the borough's rent. I speak for the girls who had to grow up fast, who learned strength early, cause softness didn't last. God didn't make me hard, he made me solid. There's a difference when your spirit ain't riding. I don't flex for the cameras, I move with intent. Every step sanctified, every word heaven sent. If I'm here, it's purpose. If I'm loud, it's praise. If I pause, it's respect for the process and the days. I seen fake gods fall with a chain snap sound. Seen real faith lift folks when they face planted ground. I don't sell miracles, I live proof. From cracked concrete roots to unshakable truth. So when I rap, it's scripture stitched in street slang. A Brooklyn song with a boom bap bang. God didn't just save me, he sharpened my sight. Turn my struggle into structure, my wrongs into right. I stand here clean, no halo cosplay. Just a woman from the borough who found a way. And every bar testify, every verse confess that grace got hands and it knows my address.
Brother Bolo. Brother Bolo in the building. What's going on, Brother Bolo? How you feeling? I got a good one for the night, man. Got a good one for the night. So, y'all know we've been in parables for almost like 2 months now. We this is literally like a month and a half worth of work. A little bit over a month and a half, but we've been doing parables for quite some time. And yesterday was my turn to present my parable, and I got a lot of good feedback from my parable. I was happy that everybody understood. Yeah, I thank the Lord for giving me the strength to do it and to deliver the word properly, and deliver the word to where as though that people understood what I was saying. So it's all thanks to the Lord. Gotta give the Lord thanks for that, because he knew I was nervous. I was nervous. I ain't even gonna cap. I had butterflies flying around in my stomach. But My uncle said a little prayer in the beginning and mentioned me and asked the Lord to remove any nervousness I had. So once I got started, it was just going. I just thought I got into podcast mode. I ain't even go cat. But we're gonna we're gonna be in Luke chapter 12, and we're going to verse 13. That's where we're gonna start at. So we're starting at Luke uh chapter 12, verse 13. And my parable is the parable of the rich fool. Okay? The parable of the rich fool. And this parable is a two-part parable. It's not just one part, it's two parts. You got two different lessons in one parable. And as I was when I first did the parable, when I first did the parable, I was only looking at it one way. But as I continue to do the parable over and over, and as I continue to keep looking at the parable, I started to learn more about it. And it wasn't until like the third time that I realized this is not just a one part parable, that is two parts. It's two different lessons being taught in this one parable. So as we as we go ahead and get started, I gotta get my notebook. Got my notes. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get my notes. Um, Hold on. Somebody just jumped. Somebody just jumped up.
Hey, hello.
What's going on?
Ah, I'm good, Chief. Just come across your stream, then just figured if I could join in.
All right. I didn't get started just yet. So let me go ahead and get started, and let me deliver the parable. And then once I'm done delivering the parable and stuff, I ask you to come back up.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Go on, mate. I'll mute.
okay. So so as as we get started, shouts out to this brother for jumping in and wanting to learn and kick it. That's what's up. I appreciate it. And this is an open discussion, and once I'm done doing what I'm doing with the parable, if you have any questions, or you want to just tap in and give what you got out the parable, that's fine. But let's get started first. Okay? So, like I said, with this parable, it's a two lesson parable, and we're starting it in chapter 12, verse 13. And y'all know I gotta get my book. I like having it up here on the screen for y'all to read, but I'd rather have it read out the book. All right, so as we get started now with this parable, I have to go to verse 13. Verse 13 is the setup to the parable. Okay, so with giving the setup to the parable, we understand why Jesus is giving this parable from the beginning. Okay, so verse 13. Then one from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell me why tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." But he said to him, Man, who made me a judge or an arbitrator over you? And he said to them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in abundance of the things he possesses. Then he spoke a parable to them, saying the ground of a certain rich man yield plentiful. Yielded plentiful. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? Hold on, let me bring this down some. Store my crops. We in verse 18. So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there I will store all my crops and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, Fool, this night your soul will be required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? So is he who lays up treasure for himself is not rich towards God. Okay? So this is the beginning of the parable. This is the parable right here. Now, when we start to break down this, we gotta identify the characters in this parable. The characters in this parable is the teacher. Hold on, y'all, hold on. Well, I always wait till I get online to want some cereal. It's like, bro, you been here all this long time, ain't never say nothing about it. Now, as soon as I get on, as soon as I cut it on, every time, bro, it never fails. All right, what was I at? Oh, all right. So we breaking down the characters. The characters in this parable. One, we see the teacher. Okay, the teacher would be Jesus. All right, and then we see a guy from the crowd. The guy from the crowd is is people, is us in real time, like us in real time. Um, and then he's asking about his brother. He's asking about his brother. His brother, we gonna label him as somebody else. Okay, now now he's asking about this guy is asking Jesus about an inheritance. Okay, inheritance is worldly possessions, worldly goods, money, jewelry, clothes, house, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's the stuff of the world. Okay. Now, in this first thing, it says a guy one from the crowd asks him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide his inheritance with me." Okay. So now we're ready to get into the first lesson. Okay, we're gonna get into the first lesson. So in the in the Bible, we know that Jesus was also referred to as rabbi. Rabbi meaning teacher. Okay, now with being a rabbi, you can in those times you was either elected as being a teacher, or you was elected to be a judge, or arbitrator. So when the guy asks Jesus to tell his brother to divide the inheritance, this is why Jesus replied to him, who made me a judge, or who made me an arbitrator. um because in those times, rabbis rabbis was like I said, elected as judges or teachers. Now, now the first lesson in this parable, it says it says we're gonna go to verse 14. It says in verse 14, but he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for one's life does not consist in abundance of the things possessed." So this is the first lesson. Okay? The first lesson that I want y'all to understand is that the God that's asking for the inheritance, Jesus is warning him of covetousness. Okay. Now, when dealing with covetousness, covetousness is considered the mother of sins. Okay, it's considered the mother of sins because it births a multitude of sins. Okay, covetousness will be referred to as um an action word. Okay, and with with covetousness, it's the need for more. You want more. You're not happy with what you got. You want more, and or you just want. So with covetousness being the mother of sins, covetousness can give birth to a multitude of sins. The sins that covetousness births: greed, murder, denial of God, which will be idolizing something, idolatry of something, um, temptations, lust, oppressions, and violence, theft, envy, hatred. Okay? So, with covetousness, you want more, which will lead you down a path of greed, which will lead you to murder somebody for their possessions, which will lead you to denial of God, because now you're idolizing your goods more than you're giving God praise. Okay? Um temptation temptations, you know, just the want of more, you're tempted to do certain things to get the more. um Violence, you'll commit an act of violence for those things. You will steal for those things, and you will be hateful or envious of a person who has those things and you don't have those things, so you'll be envious and hateful over them. Okay, so with covetousness, it births a multitude of sins. So this is why in the first lesson, Jesus is telling the brother that is asking for the inheritance to heed and beware of covetousness, because one's life does not consist in the abundance of things possessed. So he's telling him, just because you have a lot of things, and just because you have more of this inheritance, it doesn't make you any better than who you are. It doesn't make you doesn't make the Lord love you more. um you're not being rich towards God. And and the lesson is in this is not to want more. Be happy and be grateful for the things possessed. You was able to get an apartment. You was able to get a car. You was able to have a job. Be grateful for those things that you have, instead of, oh, I want more of this. I want a better car. I want a bigger house. I want more money. Um I want the job that somebody else has. Um I've been working here for 5 years. I worked here for 5 years, and I feel like I should be a supervisor at this time. But you're not being grateful for the fact that you have the things that you already have. You probably have a decent paying job, but you want more. You feel as though you want more money. You feel as though you need a raise. You know, just because you get these things, it doesn't mean that makes you a better person. Okay, so he's telling him to beware of covetousness. Be grateful for what you have, instead of seeking to get more, seeking to want more. Because when you seek to want more, you're you're in you're in a state of chasing the more. Um, what what I got? Oh, it corrupts and leads you to a self-centered pursuit of worldly gain rather than trusting in God's provision. Okay, so you're forever gonna be chasing more, more, more. I want more of this. I want more of that. You will never be satisfied or full. Okay, you're always gonna be trying to fill a gap or fill a void that you're creating. Now, that's the first lesson. The first lesson was for the brother. The second lesson is leaning towards the second brother, but it's more of a It's more speaking of a person who is leaning towards the brother, but it's more speaking of people who have an abundance of things. Shouts out to brother B in the building. My brother B in the building. It's speaking to people who have an abundance of things and put those things before God. Okay? So when he starts his parable in 16, he says, then he spoke a parable to them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man is plentiful. Okay? And with and with him and with him there we go. And with him uh and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no room to store my crops? So he said, I will do this. I will pull down my barns, build a build greater, and there I will store my crops and my goods. So this goes back to what I was saying before about wanting more, not being pleased with the stuff that you already have. You're in a state of chasing to want more. See, he could have stopped that. He could have stopped that having an abundance of goods and his barn being full, and you know what I'm saying? He could have stopped right there. But the fact that he's living in covetousness, he's forever seeking more. He's forever seeking how to gain more. And the whole point of taking down the barns that he had and building a greater barn is that so he can have space and he can store what he has and still have space, so just in case he wants more, just in case he needs more to get more. Okay? Now, now, all my crops and goods. 19. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, drink, and be merry. Okay? So now you're starting to get the beginning of his covetousness. Okay? You're starting to see the beginning of his covetousness. He's telling his soul, he's saying to his soul that soul, you will be good for many years because you have an abundance of things that you are now, you now can eat, drink, and be merry for years. You don't you you're set for a long time. But this is the beginning of covetousness. You have these things, and now you're starting to worship these things more than you worshiping God. You're starting to idolize the fact that you have goods. And with you idolizing the fact that you have those goods, and now you're telling yourself that because I have all these goods, I don't need nothing else. All I need is my goods and I will be fine. But you're forgetting the fact that it was the Lord that gave you these goods. It was the Lord that put you in a position to have these goods. It was the Lord that was able that gave you the ability to keep these goods. And then look what it says after 19. After he tells his soul that soul, you are good with everything that you got right here. You're good and you'll be set for years. But look what God says. But God said to him, fool, this night your soul is required of you. Then whose will those things be which you have provided? Okay? So now God is telling him, bruh, you about dumb as a doorknob. What are you talking about? You about as dumb as a doorknob, bruh. If I come snatch you right now, if I come snatch you right now, then you built up all those goods. You built a greater barn. You done stored all this abundance of stuff, and I come and snatch you. Then what's gonna happen with those goods? Those goods I don't require. I don't care nothing about those goods. I could care less about those goods. Then you done built all that stuff. Now where's all that stuff gonna go? Where you gonna put up? Where you gonna who you gonna give all that stuff to? You see what I'm saying? So he's calling them a fool for a reason, because because he's worshiping the goods more than he's worshiping God. Because you have an abundance of goods, because you have the biggest house, the flyest clothes, the 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 six-figure bank account, the Benz sitting on rims, doesn't make you rich towards God. Doesn't make you rich towards God. That makes you worldly rich, which there's nothing wrong with having abundance of things, as long as you're not putting those abundance of things before the Lord. Long as you're not idolizing getting money and having money. Long as you're not worshiping the money more than the Lord. So it's nothing wrong with having these things. It's not what he's saying. But what he's saying is you're telling your soul that these goods is more married to you than I'm married to you. He doesn't say I I have all these, I have many of goods, thanks to the Lord, and with the Lord I shall be merry. He doesn't say these things. He says his goods. He's idolizing the goods more than he's worshiping the Lord, who put him in the state to have those goods. So after God calls him a fool and tells him those things that you have, if I come and I require your soul, and we know that your soul is not rich towards me, it doesn't matter what you gonna do with all that stuff that you done gained. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with them. And then it says, and then when we look at 21, it says, so is he who lays up treasure for himself is not rich towards God. This is what he told him. He's telling them, bruh, I don't care about you laying up with those riches. Those Having those riches ain't being rich towards me. And I don't require worldly possessions. I require spiritual connection. Nothing in this world is spiritually bound to me. So this is what he's trying to tell them in the second lesson, is that an abundance of things is not being rich towards God. There's nothing wrong with having an abundance of things, but worshiping those abundance of things and not worshiping me, that's the problem. That's the problem. And and uh we see this we see these same actions within entertainers and famous people. You see a lot of famous people who has abundance of things and still wants more because they're not spiritually full. They're not spiritual. There's an emptiness inside them. So they're forever chasing the bag. They're forever chasing the bag. They're forever trying to gain more. This is why when entertainers argue, the first thing they start saying is, "Oh, broke, you broke. You ain't got money. You ain't got money like this. Look, you ain't got this kind of money right here. You ain't that's because that's the only thing that they possess. That's the only thing they possess. The emptiness inside of them doesn't say anything about, oh, bruh, you're not connected with the Lord like me. They're not speaking on that because they can't speak on that because they don't have that spiritual connection with God. They're idolizing the money, the jewelry, the fame, the fortune, all that before God. This is why that's immediately brought up in any rich person's argument. Any rich person's argument, oh, I don't do that because I'm talking to a bunch of broke people. And covetousness is a sinful, inordinate desire for wealth or possession, especially those belonging to others. Also, eager or excessive desire, and with that goes back to, like I said in the first lesson, that goes back in the first lesson, the desire, the lust, the temptation, the desire for wealth or possessions, and 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 the possessions belonging to others. In the first lesson, we see the brother is desiring and lusting for more wealth, and he's possessing for a belonging that the brother has, the older brother has. Okay, he's asking Jesus to tell his brother to share his inheritance. So he's not pleased with the inheritance that he got, which like I said before, the covetousness, and this is why he's warning him in that first lesson. This is why he's warning him, because if he continues down that path of covetousness, he will do one to maybe five of these things. He will be greedy, one, possibly commit murder. He's lusting and having a temptation for more possessions. He will either steal it, he'll definitely be envious and have hatred, or if he doesn't murder him, he'll perform an act of violence for it. So this is why the Lord is explaining to him to be careful of covetousness. Um and and when we look at this parable, right? This parable, all of those are stages before the love of money sets in, which is the root of all evil. Exactly, B. Exactly. And when we look at this parable, right? And we go to let's turn to Jeremiah real quick. Cinnamon, sit down, bro. Stop moving. You doing too much moving. Put it down somewhere. Let's turn to Jeremiah real quick. 10 Jeremiah 17. We turn to Jeremiah real quick. 17, chapter 11. I'm ready to pull that up. I'm ready to pull that up for you real quick. And this is just to back. This is just to back this. What I'm saying. 17. chapter 17, verse 11. Okay, so as a partridge that burrows as a partridge that burrows but does not hatch, so is he who gets riches, but not by right. It it will leave him in the midst of his days, and at the end he will be a fool. Okay, so with 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 this partridge, right? Let me uh let me pull this up real quick, because to understand what this is saying, right? It's an analogy, right? The partridge the partridge hatched eggs it did not lay, describes someone who gains wealth unjustly, noting that riches will desert them in the end, leaving them like a fool. Okay, and the symbolism in this is that anything that is um anything that is gotten. All right, here you go. I had to go to my notes. It illustrates that wealthly gain through dishonesty or unjust means is comparing it to a partridge hatching eggs that they did not lay, and and it's symbolizing in the first lesson that if the brother continues down covetousness and he does one of these acts of violence, that yes, he may get the wealth, he may get those possessions, but as soon as he gets them, they will depart from him, leaving him looking foolish for the acts that he has done to get those possessions. Okay? Um um the person who gains wealth unfairly, often through covetousness, will lose it in the middle of their life, facing ruin. This is this is the downfall of the stuff that we see in real time, where a person will will kill their mother for the insurance claim, for the insurance money. Yes, they might have successfully did it, got the insurance money, but boom, look at the downfall in that. They lost their mother. By the time they get the insurance money, they done got caught. They probably had their insurance money for a week, end up getting caught because they done traced it back that they the ones that did it, and then boom, they done lost their mother, the insurance money, and now they locked up looking like a fool. And don't tell me this is not real, because we done seen this multiple times. This is why I'm using that as an example. So this is why Jesus is warning him about covetousness. So just to back up what I'm saying in Luke chapter 12, this is while I brought that partridge thing up, is because anything any possessions require any possessions got by you get by ill gotten acts or unjust means and stuff like that, you would never have it for that long. You would never have it for that long. Um, but but yeah, like I said, this was a two part parable. And the first part is the brother who is asking for the inheritance. He's not happy with what he already has, what the Lord already gave him. He's not happy. He is seeking more. And then the second part is the brother, who has an abundance and puts his worldly gain and his worldly possessions before uh thanking the Lord, before the Lord. He's idolizing his worldly gain, and not worshiping the Lord and thanking the Lord for those worldly gains. And like I said, if you have possessions, and if you have an abundance of possessions, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having these things. The only part that's wrong with it is when you're seeking more, and you're putting more of your belief, and of your uh what is not is you're putting forth more effort to gain more things than actually being grounded in the Lord. And like I said, it doing that doing that leads you to a self-centered pursuit of worldly gains. It puts you solely on wanting more, wanting more. I gotta feel this, I gotta feel that. I need more of this, I need more of that, I need more space for this. Which that's what we're seeing with him tearing down the barns and building the greater barn. We're seeing a self-centered pursuit of worldly gains, rather than trusting in the Lord's provision. Rather than trusting, thanking the Lord for the abundance of stuff that He already possesses. None of this stuff that we would have if it wasn't for the Lord. Um, but that's the parable. That's a parable of the rich fool. That's a parable of the rich fool. I hope y'all got something from this. I hope that y'all understood what I was saying. Uh, the link is in there. Let me post the link one more time. I did have somebody come up. I don't know if that brother is still in here. You're more than welcome to jump back in. If you have a question, or if you have anything you would like to share about this parable, if you need more insight on something that I said, you're welcome to jump up. This is an open discussion, and yeah, if you need more insight on what I was saying, I can break down whatever question you might have. But yeah, this is the parable of the rich fool. Be careful of covetousness. Be careful of idolizing worldly gain more than worshiping the Lord, more than loving the Lord for what He has provided you with, because because if we look at 21, if we look at 21 says, so is he who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. See, and like I said, he phrased it that way because he's trying to tell you that it's not a problem with laying up your treasures. It's not a problem with that. But the problem comes in when you lay up your treasure and you're not rich towards God. That's why it says and is not rich towards God. He doesn't say, oh, anyone who lays up their treasure is not rich towards God. It's a comma in between that. That means you have to stop. And this is why he says and, because that and is symbolizing that you're worshiping your treasures. Also, you're not being rich towards God. You're not thanking the Lord for your the possessions that you have. You're not building that relationship with the Lord like you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You're idolizing your worldly possessions more than being grateful for what I've done for you. This is why it's said that way. He's letting you know you can have that, but also be rich towards me. Be rich towards me. Because the Lord doesn't require worldly possessions. He requires your soul. He requires the love from your heart, the love from your the spiritual connection between y'all two, the relationship. That's what he requires. So there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a broke person to love God. Anybody can love God. If you have or have not, you can love God. Just don't put stuff before him. He wants to be in the center of your life, not just working around it. Um yeah, but this is all I got for this one. It doesn't look like anybody want to come up and speak. So we gonna be we gonna be closing this one out probably a little early tonight. Then shouts out to the one brother who did come up here. I'm sorry you had to wait. But I had to give the parable. I had to give the parable out so that we can know what we're talking about. I didn't want you just up here just derailing what we came up here for. We came up here to learn about the parable, and yeah, I had to get that out first, and then we could have chopped it up and talked about different things. But shouts out to buddy who stopped in. Shouts out to brother Bolo. Shouts out to my brother B. Everybody else that's in the background who may be just listening and kicking it. Shouts out to y'all. Oh, but I do got something to show y'all. I did make some illustrations for this specific parable. So this one right here, this is the brother talking to Jesus, asking Jesus to tell his brother to divide the inheritance. That's just what I got for that one. And then this is the the guy who tore down the barn and built the greater barn to store his crops and goods. And this is him in verse 19 saying to his soul that he can eat, drink, and be at ease and be merry. So this is him and his goods, and he's dancing around happy that he has all those goods for many years. So that's the one I made for that right there. But yeah, that's all I got. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. I do got something else. I got something else. Let's watch this real quick. I sent this to my brother B earlier. Let's go ahead and watch this real quick. I made this while I was at work.
Psalms chapter 18 verse 32 through 37. 32. It is God who arms me with strength, and makes my way perfect. 33.
Hold up. That joint skipping a little bit. Hold up. Let's give it some time to load in real quick.
Psalms chapter 18 verse 32 through 37. 32. It is God who arms me with strength, and makes my way perfect. 33. He makes my feet like the feet of deer, and sets me on my high places. 34. He teaches my hands to make war, so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. 35. You have also given me the shield of your salvation. Your right hand has held me up, your gentleness has made me great. 36. You enlarged my path under me, so my feet did not slip. 37. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn back again till they were destroyed. At times we get weary in life, and life begins to beat us down, but never give up. Remember, the Lord never gives up on you. Just call on him and he will do just as Psalms 18:32 through 37 tells us. The Lord makes what feels impossible possible. Even it feels like you're stuck at a dead end, the Lord makes a pathway for you. When you feel like enemies are attacking you, the Lord gives you strength to overtake and destroy anything that is formed against you, trying to stop what the will of the Lord has for you. 2.
Man, I wish it wasn't so skippy like that. I don't know why. It was so skippy like that, man. It's skipping all over the place. Dang, but I did throw that in the short section of the channel. So if you want to watch it without the skipping and all that lagginess, you can go to the shorts and watch it straight through. But yeah, I made that at work today, and it ain't take me long. The longest part that the part that took the longest was the text to speech. I had to find the right joint to actually speak what I had put down on there, but I did find one. So shouts out to text to speech. That's what the app is actually called, text to speech. Um, but let's go ahead and start closing this down. This was the parable of the rich fool. This is what we learned on Bible study Tuesday. I'll catch y'all tomorrow for faith and growth. And faith and growth is another open discussion. That one, if anybody want to jump in early on that one, y'all more than welcome to jump in early on that one. But this one, we had to get the parable done first before we took Q&A. So shouts out to everybody who came in. Let's go ahead and leave out with a wonderful tune, courtesies of Brother Bolo. Shouts out to him.
In the silence of the night, we gather here with hearts open wide, our voices clear. The angel song, a symphony divine.